What's up, guys? Today we're taking a look at Outlast 2. Of course, we looked at the first Outlast, and if you don't know what this game is, it is a very violent, very gory, kind of a horror-style game. So, obviously, ahead of time, if you didn't already know, it's not a family-friendly game. Just putting that out there now like I did with the first Outlast. But Outlast 2 is out today, and a lot of people are curious mostly about how it runs. Now, as far as I've seen, this does run on Unreal Engine 3, so technically it's not supported on the Switch, and they had to do some porting to get it moved over. Now, this is also on the Xbox One and the PS4 and Steam, and it is the same price there as it is there. It's $29.99. So what we're going to do is, most people who were going to buy this probably played the first one and enjoyed it. So what my goal here is to show you how it runs and how everything works out, and you can kind of decide if it's for you and if it's something you want to jump into. So I'm going to start a new game, and we're going to play a bit through the beginning so that you don't get anything towards the end spoiled or anything. So I'm going to start a new game now, and then I'm actually going to jump you guys to when it's playable. So they kind of start you out in this helicopter scene, as you see here, and this is kind of the way they get some of the backstory to you pretty fast, actually. This scene only lasts a couple minutes to where your helicopter just goes down and the engine fails. Kind of a classic way to get you set up in a horror game. But we're kind of going to sit around here, and they're going to give you some of the camera controls. Now, the camera is a big part of this game, much like it was in the first Outlast. Now, if you played the first Outlast, you know you had a camera that you kind of used as night vision, and that was mostly it, right? You had to get batteries so you could see in the dark and use your camera to do that. This case, though, they use the camera for more than that. There's a microphone that can kind of spy on people, which is kind of neat, and you do actively try to record some scenes to get, like, kind of the person's take on it. So it's kind of a neat idea to do it that way. You still do need to find old school batteries. I guess that's better than it being a rechargeable one, since you probably don't find a lot of outlets. So, for example, they're having us record her as kind of an intro to their investigation that they're doing. And yes, of course, we are investigating, murders and whatnot. So that's kind of how you always end up in this way. But so you can see you have the recording thing at the top. That's kind of what you see when you go to record different events in the game. There's a little meter that fills up. And then what's cool is you can actually watch the video back. These are all things we'll be doing here in this video. So here soon we'll have this engine fail, and then we'll kind of jump into the survival part of the game, where you're pretty much constantly at risk and danger. So it'll pick up pretty quick here. So they do some pretty cool pieces here where she almost falls out of the helicopter. They do a lot of first person stuff. This is kind of going to go down. We're going to go into like this vision type scene that I think shows some pretty cool effects in the game. Things that we noticed in the PS4 and Xbox One when Digital Foundry took a look at it, and we're going to see some of that here. Now, I asked Red Barrels what the frame rate and resolution was. After playing it, it does appear that the frame rate is 30 frames per second, as opposed to the other versions having a full 60. They use this motion blur, so I could be wrong, but it does seem to be 30, and then it has kind of maybe the same resolution. That seems to be how a lot of these places get that game running, is to have the frame rate. We're going to kind of walk through here, though. It does still have like the reflections and everything, and the lighting looks correct, but we're kind of walking through almost, I guess, a hospital, school, actually a school, because they have lockers. And we're going to walk through here. This is kind of just the set piece after we fell through the helicopter. Of course, you go back and you kind of start remembering stuff, and you have weird visions. So we're going to walk up here. The door should slam, and then we'll get this really cool effect of like blood rushing down the hallway. It was really, it's a very quick kind of shocking moment that they kind of hit you with early on. So we're going to walk through here, and then you get this really cool, like I said, blood effect that hits you, and then we'll wake up. It's just kind of a neat way to do it. So here we are now. We're obviously waking up, and we're missing our partner, Lynn. We're missing her. So we're going to do a quick time event here to push this door off of us after we kind of get our head straight. So here we go. We'll kind of tap Y repeatedly. Boom, get the helicopter door off us. And we can grab our camera and start moving. Now there's going to be some things I'm going to show you guys as well with this, now that we're all set up and we can actually start playing. they do have an option that might be worth turning off for some of you. And I noticed this right away. I went to the options. I have subtitles turned on, but there is this other option called reduced head motion. So while you're moving your head, it'll be kind of bobbing a lot, and they try to mimic that in the game. But if you check that, it'll just turn off that weird feeling. Some people might actually get motion sick from it. I noticed this when I was looking at it. I don't really get motion sick from this stuff, but I saw it and I was like, yeah, I could see people not feeling well, get a little queasy from it. Now you have your objectives that you check your camera for. Objective, find Lynn. So we're going to go back and we're going to kind of work our way through here. We have this gap we want to jump over. And you do have moments where you are kind of, I guess, mild platforming stuff. But for the most part, this game is a stealth game. They really beat that in your head that you cannot for the life of you defend yourself at all. In this game, it is all stealth, and that is what you're doing. That's it. So here's a good part where we raise our camera and we actually record. So you see it blinking at the top, you see that kind of that circle in the middle filling up, and this is just one of the mechanics they have in the game where you record different events. We're going to access our camera, and what's cool is we can watch the event kind of back, and then he narrates it and kind of talks about what he sees. So we're hearing that Lynn is not in the wreckage, and we're going to go try to find her. So that's going to be the idea here. So let's keep going. You can review the videos like I just showed you. And here's our helicopter that fell down. And in the beginning, the idea, most of the game is finding Lynn. You do find her and then kind of goes from there. I don't want to ruin any of the story because that's kind of the idea of this game is the story. Most of the time you go through it and you're hiding and you go through it and you just move on to the next set piece. But people do like games where it's all about story, and games like these where it's kind of that horror-style gameplay. So there we go. I will give you guys some handheld footage as well as we get towards the end. So if you're curious how it runs in handheld mode, stick around for that, or you can jump to the end as well. You can also look back. It's kind of disorienting. I noticed that when I'm running and I hold L, the instinct is to then move back, obviously, then move back, but you'll just go backwards. It's very weird. But you do find batteries. I do like the mechanic of reloading your battery in this more than the other one. Let's fall down here. There we go. And it has that saving, that auto-save there. You can also save and exit, so. We find a town, which of course is not a good thing. He wants to play it, he thinks it's a good thing. It's not. So we'll jump over that. He can do these really cool parkour tricks and stuff like that, but he cannot swing a fist. So that's great. That's great. That's games for you. So nothing there. I believe that's jammed. Yep. So we're going to move up here. Keep running. Does have some mild pop in. Again, nothing that really detracts from the experience. So let me keep going up here. This is where I use my camera to kind of look around better. And we're going to go through here. There should be a battery in here too. So there's a guy that decided he didn't want to be around anymore. We're going to look at this. The camera does, you see that thing blinking? It does pretty much pull that in. You can zoom in and zoom out. But you can actually look back in your menu at those. So we need a battery and we need one soon. There's a battery. And my guy crouched instead of picked it up. There we go. So you hit the minus button, you can look at your batteries, and the way you do that is you kind of look at your pockets. The right pocket is your bandages for healing, and then the left pocket is your battery. So we use battery. And that just reloads the batteries. There we go. Kind of a cool way to do it, I guess, a little more interactive. But you can see without that camera, you can't see anything. So here we go. And, all right. So let's break through here. And we'll continue on. We're going to start running into some people, I believe, here soon. So let me keep going up here. And I think we see a guy right here, and he kind of fades into the background. It's kind of funny. So there he is. He kind of sticks around. They try to teach you the mechanics of peeking, of hiding. You do kind of hide in, like, closets and that barrel there you can hide in. And it's just ways to kind of stealth around, because this game is designed heavily around stealth. But I have to say, the game itself runs pretty well. It runs, I think, fine. It doesn't run as well as the other versions, of course, but if you're just looking for an experience on your Switch because you like the portable aspect, you're not really sacrificing a ton just from gameplay. So, yeah, it works fine. gonna break through here. The first Outlast was a great port, but of course Outlast 2 was a little more demanding with what they tried to do with it. So there we go, got that. And if you're really into story, this is going to be the game for you. You can also hide by crawling under beds. You can hide in like these closets. Hold Y, you can kind of peek by slowly opening the door. There we go. And I'm not a big fan of horror games where it's stealth. I know that's the best way to build a horror game, is to make it so that you are pretty much helpless. But I've never been a big fan of those kind of games. Outlast, I did play the first Outlast, and I thought it was all right. I didn't really play too much of the second one. So when I played through this was kind of a new experience for me. But they did go a little further off the rails with the second one, I will say that. So far it seemed more tame because we're not visiting an asylum, but it goes left very quickly, very quickly in this game. So let's go into, we gotta go through the window, that's right. Let's push in the window here. There we go. And we'll kind of go this way. So it's gonna start picking up pretty quick. I don't wanna spoil any of the good stuff that's going to be happening in a bit, but we will play a little further so you can get an idea of handheld mode, of course. But I just wanted to keep it so that you guys don't get... there's some big story stuff that's coming up soon, is what I'll say. So we're going to kind of push through here a little more. I do like the environments as well, because it does give that very ominous kind of spooky feel, right? Because you're going through the woods and everything. So I really like the way they did that. And if you're a horror game fan, you're going to like this. This part is a little weird because you go down here and you're going to see it soon. There is a ton of like ritual-like stuff in here. And there's one scene that might be a little upsetting to some people, but there is a scene up here. And I might not even, we'll see. There we go. There's a lot of corpses in here, and you can kind of see how, obviously, how off the rails they try to go. We're going to push through that. And here we go. I think we actually have some people up here. The stealth aspects, I will say, I'm not a big stealth fan, so I'm not a big fan of some of the aspects they try to do. We do have to, you can also crawl. I did find myself crawling at times so far in this game, because there are times where you try to hide in grass and it doesn't always work, so I found myself just completely like dropping all the way down to try to stay hidden. So I do know there is a person up here, I remember. There's no battery, nice. Need batteries. Can never have too many batteries. So there should be someone up here that's kind of the person that's kind of ends up following around at times. It's kind of interesting, but should see them up here soon, I think. There we go. Let me see if I can peek around at them. And see, they kind of disappear. So it does that. I guess it's supposed to be like a hallucination type thing. Just to, again, keep you kind of scared. But like, there are times where there are weapons around you and your character chooses not to use them. A little frustrating. Shovels and things you could technically attack people with, and you just leave them around. It's very weird. Another battery. I'm actually doing pretty well with batteries this time. So that's jammed. Bandages. There we go. You take bandages. Here's the thing. Whenever I got caught, I would get killed pretty quick. So maybe there are times where you use the bandages more, but man, if I got caught, I was like, ugh. Like, they would just take... There's some cool animations where you do get killed where they have like... They'll actually... Because you're first person, they'll stick like the spike in your head and it's still sticking out of your first person view, which is kind of neat. Yeah, nothing there. So this is... Outlast 2, though, plays well, I think, on the Switch, well enough to play through it. I'm going to jump you guys over to handheld mode now, so you can kind of take a look at how it plays there. This is Outlast 2. It's out today, $29.99. If you enjoyed the first one, this is kind of a no-brainer to pick up because it's very scary and uneasy like that one, but like, seriously, like to the 10th degree. It's crazy some of the stuff that happens in this game, so make sure you check it out if you haven't already. Good portable experience. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.